Hi, my name is Sydney Rubin.
I'm Samantha Heller, and we're here to talk today about the change we want to see in our national gun legislation. There's a lot of things that we can do to address keeping our schools safe from shooters. We can talk about security measures and bulletproof glass, but placing the blame on the safety of schools distracts from the real cause of these tragedies and countless others. Students are not being massacred in schools because they don't have tinted windows and metal detectors. These tragedies keep happening because of a proliferation of guns in America.
But by adapting our national gun laws to require more thorough background checks for all gun purchases and banning the most lethal of weapons, we can reduce the proliferation of gun violence that claims the lives of nearly 100 people per day. We can create a future in which the United States no longer has a rate of gun homicide that is 25 times higher than the other nations with common sense gun laws. Therefore, our argument is twofold.
First, we should all be able to agree that there are certain people who should not have access to guns. People with unstable mental conditions or a history of criminal or violent acts. But right now, there are many places in our nation where it is easier to buy a semi-automatic rifle than a lottery ticket. Between gun shows and online purchases, weapons of horrific capabilities can be purchased by basically anyone with no restrictions. So we ask our congressmen and women in the Capitol, why have comprehensive background checks failed to be implemented on a national level? Without requiring a secure and extensive process for every gun purchase, we make it easier for our citizens to have access to extremely dangerous weapons.
Secondly, we believe it should be obvious that weapons capable of firing many bullets in a short amount of time, such as semi-automatic weapons, should not be legal. They serve no purpose other than to make it easy for large numbers of people to be harmed and killed in split seconds, and therefore should not be allowed in our country. To pretend the root of the problem does not lie in the obscene amount of guns in our country is ludicrous. The problem is that citizens have access to assault rifles that fire 600 rounds per minute. The problem is that people who are mentally ill have access to these same weapons. The problem is that the same 18-year-old, unable to drink a beer for at least another 3 years, can purchase a semi-automatic weapon. The problem is that we are the only developed country in the world that faces these problems at such a consistent rate. But it doesn't have to be this way.
While our voices may at times be divided, it is imperative that we unite to create effective change, and that requires calling upon our lawmakers to make a difference in how people purchase and own guns in our nation.
The critical need for effective, nationally implemented gun control legislation cannot be overlooked when it comes to protecting our nation and our nation's children. Thank you.